Marshall skips away. Marshall skips away. Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons win the grand final.
Whips that one away, and Kane Williamson and his team now World Test champions.
Welcome back to the TGIF podcast. Thank God it's footy. It's been a pretty hectic week here in Auckland with a bit of flooding and, well, to say the least, a bit of flooding, but yeah, very hectic for some people out there. So just hope everyone's okay. That turns into the potty and everyone can bounce back as quickly as possible. But how was your last week with all the
the
hectic flooding?
She's
and
been bloody
all of that
wet.
Stuff.
That's for sure. Lots of rain. Definitely not something that we expect today. There's been more rain than I've ever seen, but I'm fairly lucky with the water. Not too much got inside, which is good. But obviously, my long holiday is now over. Been getting back into the swing of things the last week and getting all set up for Tuesday with the kids coming back to school, which will be good. So I've just sort of been trying to get back into a little bit of routine and get out of that holiday mode.
Yeah, I mean, for those of us that don't get the super long holidays every year, it's a good time of year normally with the two back-to-back long weekends to enjoy. But yeah, it's with the mung weather, it's obviously not been as enjoyable.
No.
I mean, plenty of swimming to be done and the various different lakes and rivers that have popped up across Auckland that you see on social media, but
yeah, fuck, I don't know
to be
about
fair,
that. Wouldn't be going in that water, that's for sure.
I'm definitely not a fan of doing that shit. It's a bit scungy, but yeah, it's a bit of a mung week really, so we'll probably crack on with it, I guess.
Yeah, get into a bit of news, but there's been some good news that's come out of sports in the last week or so, and coming out of here in little Aotearoa. And first openly gay All Black, Campbell Johnson, came out the other day and shared the news, which is awesome to see, and hopefully sort of can maybe start the ball rolling for anyone else out there who's gay as well, and maybe feels a little bit of the stigma and things like that around it, and apprehensive about sharing their own sexuality. So it's awesome to see, and hopefully it does give others the the motivation, or feel like they've got the support to come out themselves.
Yeah, look, you got what's his name, Ian Roberts, Roberts from ex-Manly superstar and Australian international there, coming out. Not too sure when, but yeah, now we've got an All Black, so hopefully, yeah, like you said, it helps to let people be themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
A bit more and show that, you don't have to hide who you are to be a successful rugby player, rugby league player, or even football player. Yeah, it's about it really. Shout out Campbell.
Yeah, good on
you, mate.
Awesome to hear that news, to be fair.
But look, in terms of our betting this week, it's probably best we just skip over this one relatively quickly. It was definitely not a good week at all, but as we always say, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And
exactly.
Particularly this time of the year when we're looking to track it throughout the NRL season as our end mark. We've got plenty of time to bounce back, so don't you worry out there, punters.
I did have a sneaky little win yesterday, nothing that we shared on the potty. But looking at the darts yesterday, I was on my way to school, I was sitting at traffic, and I thought, I'm going to put something on quickly now. I was too late to get in for that first game, but I had MVG to beat Michael Smith, Dobie to take the little upset win against Peter Wright, and then the Asp to take the little upset against Gizzy, and chuck the old price booster on, chuck $10 on, and came away with $120. So I was pretty happy. Pretty happy chappy yesterday, seeing that came through. So a little bit of moolah in the bank, and
good start to
too
the
much.
weekend.
Good start to the weekend. Got a little bit of a withdrawal going on actually. I took a bit of money out, and I've left myself a little bit in there to hopefully see if I can make you some money over the next week or so.
Yeah, look, that's the plan, isn't it? We'll be looking to, like I said, bounce back and get that balance back into the positive. But Yeah, not too much to brag about there. If we move into a little bit of NRL, look, there hasn't been too much exciting in terms of the NRL. Look, we've had a few signings and injury news and a couple of rumours going around. I mean, look, you got Nick Meaney signing on another year at Melbourne. Good signing there. I think he really clicked and started to show a bit more of that potential from his early days at the Knights. Might have, like we keep saying, fallen into maybe not the best culture at the Doggies there over the last few years. Not the best to be an up and coming footy player in a team that doesn't
battling for 6 dates.
Yeah, doesn't get too many wins, but look, a good signing for Melbourne and a good signing for Nick Meaney. It means he'll be out there probably on the wing for a couple of premiership challenges. Well, it's only one more year, but I'm sure they're looking to take it
I'm sure they'll
year by year.
Keep him along for as long as they can, I can imagine.
If he has another good year, I'm sure they'll be looking to snap him up again.
Yeah, especially with, the amount of injuries that Pap seems to be picking up, he's
good cover at the back as well.
It is good cover there for him, and obviously Noffa's come back to the Tigers, so that's another option that they don't have now on the wing, so it's it's a handy little signing, I think, for Melbourne there.
100%.
Then we've had Blake Lowry. He's re-signed there with your lads, the Dragons.
Yeah, look, he's always been a bit of a battler for us. He definitely does the tough stuff that no one likes to do, and celebrated last year his first meaty after what was it, nearly 100 odd games. So that would have been a good.
Must be Alex Twal's year this year then.
Yeah, it must be Twali's year, surely. Come on, Twali, get over that line, get yourself a meaty. But yeah, Laurie, pretty stoked with that one. He's been one of our better forwards over the last couple of seasons, so happy days there. And another one that's probably been one of the Warriors' better forwards over the last few seasons. Maybe not their best forward there, but Bunty Afoa signing on. I'm sure there'll be lots of Warriors fans stoked with that one. He's always seems to charge hard for them, and it's great to see that big what do you call it, locks of hair flowing in the wind, and
always he's easy to spot when he's out on the field, that's for sure.
When he takes a hit up, it definitely makes it easy to spot.
I think it's a good signing for the Warriors there. I think that's maybe an area of their game where they've probably been stronger over the last few years in terms of that forward pack, where I think it's the backs that probably let them down, but to have someone like that, someone who's experienced and who does bring that added oomph into the team, it's probably
a bit of oomph.
It's a bugger for the Warriors fans that he's probably going to get injured next week and miss out most of the season when he comes up against the Mighty Tigs in the first pre-season trial.
Happy snaps him around the ankles.
I'm thinking something along those lines. Now, I know you said there's not been nothing too exciting. I think for me the most exciting news in the last week or so has been able to get hold of one of these tickets. Now, I'd seen obviously that the news was that there was a pre-season trial there at Mount Smart between the Warriors and the Tigers, and then the unfortunate news was that it was only open to Warriors members, to sort of repay the faith over the last few years with missing home games and things like that. Now, I've managed to source myself a little Warriors membership, paid my $25 to be a fan, and I've got myself a ticket, so keep your eyes peeled next week. There may be one sole Tigers fan at the game, and if that's the case, I'm hoping it's going to be me, and I'm hoping I can get loud and proud and see the Tigs pull off a solid win to start off the season, which would be awesome.
Isn't it good? Footy's back. You'll be certainly in your element there if you're the only Tigers fan. It was
opened myself up for some abuse. I can't wait.
Yeah, it was certainly the case on the return of the Mount Smart NRL when we went, and you were loud and proud, and everyone was saying, "What the fuck is this bloke doing?" But
that's right. I'll be there. I've bought myself one of those nice little jester hats, and I'm gonna bring as much Tigers gears along as I can, and you never know. See if we can maybe get seen by one of the lads on the bench or one of the lads in the coaching staff. Who knows? You might see me in the the end of game celebration photo with the lads. Who knows? Fingers crossed. Something like that would be awesome to see.
Oh, mate, be awesome. Yeah, great start to the year for the Tigers to get a photo with the great Nat from TGIF.
Oh, exactly.
But, across the ditch again, we've got another, I think this is a good signing, Marty Tapau. He signed a year-long deal at the Bronx there, and
him and Big Payne Haas together running up the middle.
Yeah, look, even if he doesn't play as much footy as people are expecting, I'm sure he'll be a great influence on some of the younger forwards there, and show them, just what it takes to forge out a long career. I think he's coming up on, how many games would Big Martin have played? I'll search it up now.
It's been around for a wee while now, but yeah, it's definitely a handy,
close to 300.
Handy deal there for the Bronx. I think Manly will be gutted to have lost him. Obviously, bit of a
2-2-2.
2-2-2. There you go. Nice.
He might get there. He might forge out another few years. He's 33 now, so it's tough. If he picks up another injury, he might be pushing his luck. But look,
fair whack of games though, that's for sure.
I'm pretty sure he'll get that 250. That'll be 2 years away. So good signing for the Bronx there. Look for a big year from the young blokes, particularly with the influence of him.
That's for sure.
Look, another
influential player there signing on. Liam Martin signing on for another year at the Panthers. Obviously, pretty good news for them with the amount of players that they've lost over the throughout the off season. To have someone with the influence that he does signing on again and staying with the lads, I think they'll be pretty happy that they can try and push on and get another premiership, I think.
Yeah, great signing. He's been awesome for them over the last few years, and I'm sure he'll probably even step up again this year with big kicks over at the Doggies this year. Obviously got, Luke Garner coming in as well, and he had a great season there with the Tigers. But look for a big season from Liam Martin. I don't think he was off contract like this year, so I think this is for 2024. But still, to lock him in, that gives him another 2 years with that position locked in. And in Origin and Australian rep, you can't get much better. Probably got good bang for their buck as well. I'm sure he loves it out there at the club. That's definitely made him as a player, and good signing. Some more signing news. We got Lockie Miller. It's been talked about for a few weeks, being released from the Sharkies to go up and allow Ponga to play 6 up at the Knights there, and it's been officially announced over the last few days, I think, that he's officially signed up at Newcastle. So
handy little signing there for Newcastle, and I think, like you said, it frees up a little bit of space there at the for Ponga, obviously, as well. What a debut he had last year. What was it, nearly 300 metres? Yeah, something like that.
Sharkies. Obviously debuting as a 27-ish year old, coming off the 7 scene, I believe.
That's right.
Well done to him, and hopefully in for a big season for Caelan's sake, at least. Let him forge his career at 6 there and crack on. But last bit of signing news that we've got, we saw Will Penasini there signed on at Parramatta. Another
fella had an awesome season last year.
Another signing that Para fans should be stoked with, I reckon.
Yeah, one of Para's probably more shining lights of last season, I would say. He had a really, really good season, so I think that's a player that they'll be pretty happy that they've locked in, for a little bit longer now, which is good. And it's, for them, they've got to obviously take that next step now as well, Para, and try and push on a little bit further. So I think it's a real good piece of news to come out of the Eels camp there for them.
Yeah, I'm sure those Eels fans will be stoked. They've lost Marnie and Papali'i there, so good to keep that grand final side together as much as they can.
Oh, exactly.
Particularly young talent there. But look, speaking of young talent, and Reid Marnie, he's been named one of the 3 new Canterbury.
I saw that.
There. Burton, Marnie to be co-captains on game day, and Faitala Mariner club captain. I'm not sure if that's sort of a dicky move to say maybe you're not going to be in match day 17, but you can go and do all the press conferences and all the media events and all of that stuff. But look, I'm sure he'll be stoked with it, and Yeah, it is what it is. 3 captains. It's a bit buzzy, but the big news for Doggies fans, at least, I don't think he'll be playing too many games with Matty Burton around, but Doggies fans, I'm sure it's a very heartwarming moment for them that Joshy Reynolds
is back in the top 30 for this year.
Yeah, been announced as back in their top 30, so it'd be cool if he gets out there. And obviously it didn't work out the best for him at the Tigers there.
Useless. Useless.
Look, Bulldogs are in his heart. I'm sure he'll go hard. It's more of a sentimental thing, I suppose, than a really great signing like the ones we've just sort of been through. But look, I'm sure he'll play his heart out if you know, Matty Burton gets called up to Origin and he needs to come and play a game or two or whatever. But yeah, speaking of captains, the inaugural Dolphins captain, Jesse Bromwich.
Yeah, congratulations to him. Obviously the first of many that will be running out, leading the team throughout the next however long they're going to be involved.
So does that make him Dolphins player number 1 then? Because you know you get your.
I'm guessing so. Yeah, I'm guessing he'll be Dolphins player number 1, which is pretty cool.
Unless they just give it to the fullback.
Which I'm guessing will be Hammer.
Hammer, yeah. Who else have they got there? As a fullback, yeah, I think it would be Hammer.
I'd say so. Yeah.
I think they've got a few young guys, but yeah, pretty cool to be Dolphins player number 1 if that is.
Yeah,
I'm presuming that's how they do it.
Sarko can play there at fullback. You've got Tessie New as well.
Yeah, look, a few decent players that could.
And no Hammer in that list either, so I don't know where. He's obviously there. We know that he's there, but not on that list there. But I'd say yeah, he's probably going to be the man to wear the 1. I'd say so. It's either him or Bromwich that takes that Dolphins number 1 player, which is pretty cool to see. But a little bit closer to home for me in terms of the West. There's been a few more rumours sort of circling around about Moses coming back to the Tigers. I see that even Brooksy's been trying to get involved, saying how he'd love to have him back there.
Yeah, they asked Brooksy about it, and he openly admitted in a little interview there after training that he's been in Moses' ear trying to get him back. And further developments that I've seen is that they would have to actually let Brooks go to do that, which would kind of be, I guess, good for Tigers fans probably on the one hand, but yeah, definitely not what Brooks would want. But yeah, interesting to see how this one unfolds. Whether Sheensy and Benji and Robbie and Brooksy can manage to get Moses back. I'm pretty sure this rumour comes around every year or every couple of years that he
back,
that he could be on his way back. But yeah, stay tuned and keep your eye on Mitchell Moses' movements there, because I'm sure there'd be a few happy West fans to have him back in the 7 jersey.
Yeah, I'd be pretty happy. I'd probably rather take Dylan Brown from them rather than Moses. I've got to say. And you know, unfortunately for Brooksy, you know, I don't see him getting too much game time if Moses comes along.
I'm thinking if Moses comes along, he complements Dewey really well.
Yeah, I think it's those two that will be playing together.
But Brown and Dewey might be, even Brown and Brooks. Like Brooks isn't really like a game manager.
Yeah.
He's more of a like playmaker sort of. Anyway, yeah. Keep an eye on that one. But have you seen the news that Josh Adokar is no longer going to be making the trip across the ditch to Rotorua?
Pulled out of the All-Stars game, I saw that.
Saying he's going to focus on getting super fit for round 1 there. Doesn't really, I guess, like where he's at in his pre-season development and his fitness levels, but it's a bit of a shame. It's always good to see him running out, and he's a very proud
fair enough to the bloke, to be fair, I think. You know,
but also,
does a lot in terms of the Indigenous game and, you know, for Indigenous people in Australia. And
coming off the World Cup as well. He's been playing footy that extra couple of months longer than everyone else. So.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be. I'm sure he'll be supporting the lads out there. Anyway, maybe it gives us our Māori team a little bit of a chance to maybe take a win, which would be good. I've seen
more of a chance. Yeah, I think the best of the
Simpkins
teams
from the
look
Tigers
really good.
got the call up. I've seen he's been picked into that
Māori
Māori squad. Yeah, and then I'm guessing I saw that Dane Laurie had been called up. I'm guessing he's been called up to replace
Adokar, nice, yeah.
So a couple of Tigers there involved, which was pretty cool.
Good to see.
There you go, yeah. Dane Laurie, Albert Kelly, Isaiah Tass and Braden Trindle have been added to men's Indigenous All-Stars, replacing Adokar, Ezra Mann, Chris Smith and Will Smith. So one Tiger goes and another Tiger comes in, and then yeah, Tuki Simpkins has been called in to replace Stafford Torres. So you know, two Tigers, a few Tigers players involved there, to be fair.
Bit of a swap with the Tigers there. Now, for us, the Drags, Jack Bird has apparently booked himself in for a bit of surgery. He's pulled up with a meniscus pop or something there, so he's rushing to be fit in time for round 2 there, which looks like it might be a bit of a blow with Amon obviously out with disciplinary matters, and Dragons got the bye round 1 there, so it gives them that extra week to bounce back. But we both know how a hickey meniscus goes down. It's definitely not fun.
Nice. Not nice at all, that's for sure.
It's not the thing that you bounce back from straight away, so hopefully he pulls up.
It'll be rough if he's
good there for round 2, round 3, and
rough for him if he's out for too
season.
long. The amount of injuries he's had, you know, over the last few years, and you know, obviously an awesome player with, you know, plenty to give. So for his sake, we'll be hoping that he's fit and ready to go come the start of the NRL season. But probably about it in terms of NRL news. Now, obviously over the last month or so, we've had the transfer window open in terms of football, and a couple of things that we didn't touch on last week. 2 new incoming signings there at the Arsenal. Firstly, we welcomed Leonardo Trossard coming over from Brighton. Obviously, you know, there was lots of hope that we were going to get Mudryk after seeing his performance from this morning up against Fulham.
I haven't.
45 minutes played, no duels won, no interceptions, no passes made, no chances created, no shots on target. I don't know how many times he touched the ball, but not very many. And he's hooked at half time. And with all of that money that they spent, they only managed to 0-0 draw there with Fulham. So it's nice to see there that Fulham have stayed ahead of them. They've moved up to 6th in the table, jumping ahead of Brighton. But Trossard, you know, he's come in for about a quarter of the money that we would have had to spend on Mudryk, and I think that's an awesome sign. You know, we've seen what he's been able to do this year.
7 Premier League goals, hat-trick at Anfield.
You know, so a really handy signing. And then also Jacob Kiwior from Spezia, Polish centre-back, has come on in and just sort of gives us a little bit of depth in terms of being able to rest one of Gabriel Saliba, you know, when we need to, which is awesome. And then, you know, just over the last couple of days, we had the deadline day. Now, no one really likes a deadline. It means you've got something that you need to get done, and, you know, no one really wants to be doing things that they don't want to be doing. Now, deadline day, though, that's it puts another spin on the word of deadline. Now, I'm a big deadline day fan. I love it. You know, it's one of the best days of the calendar year.
It's an exciting day,
yeah. There's plenty of things going on around the world of football, and there've been lots of talk that Moses Caicedo from Brighton, the Ecuadorian defensive midfielder there, was going to be coming to the Arsenal. Now, he handed in a bit of not a transfer request as such, but he told the club, look, I want to be leaving, I want to go and play elsewhere. And
put that statement out on his Instagram.
Yeah, posted on Instagram saying he was going to be leaving, and they basically turned around and said, look, sorry mate, we need you for our push towards Europe for next year, so, you know, you're going to be staying for now at least. And slightly, I don't know if it's a downgrade. To me personally, I think I'd probably rather have him here than Caicedo, and that's Jorginho, who's made the move across town from Chelsea to come and join us in the rear of Arsenal.
Yeah, look, as Mudryk morphed into Trossard there, Moises Caicedo has morphed into Jorginho. As you said, moving across from our blue rivals to the red part of London, the best part of London. I think it's a good signing, really. It's 12 million, we got him on an 18-month contract. I don't think he's a player that's going to come in and set the world alight, but I don't think he's going to hold us back in any way. He's obviously not the same as Thomas Partey there, if the idea is to play him as that anchor man with Xhaka and Odegaard, or Vieira and Smith Rowe, those guys ahead of him. Yeah, but he's got a pass on him, and he controls the game really well there. And I think, no disrespect to Lokonga and Elneny, but he's a bit of an upgrade on those two. And
yeah,
with Elneny being injured, of course, with a long-term injury there, we needed another midfielder.
And Lokonga obviously making the loan move there to Palace, it does sort of mean that our stocks are dwindling a little bit. So it is, I think it's a really good move. Lots of people saying that it's another one of those Chelsea players coming to retire at Arsenal, but I think it's pretty clear that the way that you look at the table at the moment, I don't think he's moving, thinking he's going to go and do something that's nice and relaxing. He's obviously they're pushing on to try and get that Premier League title, and Chelsea all the way down there in ninth at the moment. So it's not like he's throwing something away to come and get nothing. I think he's putting himself into a pretty good position to come away with a Premier League winners medal, and like you said, possibly doesn't come in and take that role off Partey, but I think it's a really handy player to have coming off the bench, and it's nice to have an experienced player like that. God, there was a couple of years ago he was talked about for getting the Ballon d'Or, so
came third in the Ballon d'Or there, so when Chelsea won the Champions League.
It'll be a handy player to have around the squad, I think.
Definitely, he's a good penalty taker. He's got an awesome pass on him, and the experience of winning trophies and playing in big games, big stadiums. So like you said, I'm sure he's not coming to retire or do anything easy. He's coming and joining the fun at Arsenal, the hard work and the fun.
Sure.
But another thing is, if you do, I think it's gotten to the point now, there's a lot of Arsenal fans that are sort of not too happy with it, but
suck it up.
It's gotten to the point where I don't think you can doubt Edu and Arteta with the signings they've made. Most of them have been awesome signings.
Like, I'd rather be spending 12 mil on Jorginho than 105 mil on some bloke who was all right in a World Cup winning team that was won by Messi, really. There's
no way Fernandes is he's a really talented, promising footballer, and for sure he could become one of the Premier League's best, but 105 million is for someone that already is the Premier League's best.
This is the same fans that'll be out there saying that, Balogun not going to be able to crack it in the Premier League. Yes, he could crack it with Middlesbrough, but it'll be these same fans who are saying, oh yeah, but it's a Farmers League over there in League On. The bloke's just gone out, scored a hat-trick the other day. First professional hat-trick. He's top of the league scoring, the goal-scoring table over there in France, and it'll be these same blokes out there saying that he's not going to be able to crack it when he comes back to the arse, but they're happy to pay 100 million plus for some bloke playing in Portugal. It's a bit of a golfing class there, I think, between Portugal and the Premier League, and to have sort of made your breakout while you're at the World Cup, possibly not the player you want to be spending that much moolah on.
Yeah, it's a strange one. It certainly was all on there with every team signing a player bar Everton there. I'm sure Dyche wasn't too happy about that one, but Chelsea spending £300 million plus. Very crazy. But a couple more outgoings as well. Cedric and Marquinhos there getting loan moves to Fulham and Norwich respectively. So Yeah, look.
Yeah, happy to see Marquinhos getting a loan move. I'm really hoping he can, get a bit of game time there for Norwich. And,
yeah, get used to English football a little bit more.
Oh, exactly. We've seen what he's been able to do when he has come on, and he came on, had a great debut there in Europe, and there's no better test I think for him to start his career at Norwich with a game up against league leaders Burnley overnight. So he'll be hoping that he can, maybe get himself involved in that starting team and see whether or not they can try and make that push a little bit further up the table.
Look, it's an Norwich. I'm sure they'll be there or thereabouts come playoffs time, and definitely one of those, as we always say, yo-yo clubs. They'll, if they're not back in the Premier League next year, I'm sure it'll be the year after. But yeah, look, I'm pretty. Obviously, haven't seen Kirill or Jorginho yet, but pretty stoked with the way Trossard has started his Gunners career. He's had a few moments there, and in the games that he came off the bench and started against Man City, and yeah, he's done really well. Just needs to find the back of the net to really get going, I think, or maybe lay on an assist, and
yeah,
he'll be away laughing. But look, his, I suppose, position rival there, and Martinelli has gone and signed himself a long-term deal until 2027.
Yeah, it's awesome news. Really good news, especially with a lot of talk over the last week or so about teams that have been interested in Saka and things like that, so it's great to see us being able to hold on to Martinelli for that little bit longer, and hopefully we'll be able to see him repay the faith and keep scoring some goals for the Arsenal, which would be great to see, because it's something that we missed in our last game, some goals, and disappointing result, but I feel like we played pretty well up against City in that loss in the FA Cup.
Yeah, like you said, disappointing result, but yeah, solid effort and decent performance, and definitely puts other Arsenal teams over the last 4 or 5 years that have gone up to the Etihad to shame. The way that we were able to stay in the game for 90 minutes there, and involving a string of players that sort of don't get as much game time as they probably would like.
Yeah, but, especially in this run into for the end of the season, I think we need to be playing our best squad as much as we can. And obviously we rested a few players here up against City, but I think it's probably the game against City I'd be happy to lose, this FA Cup one, compared to any game against them in the Premier League. Excuse me.
I think it gives us a lot of confidence there going into our league meetings with Man City. If we do play our strongest 11, that we will be able to again really compete and have a chance of coming away with a point or three in both the meetings, because those will be huge games in the push for the title. And it was a little bit of a rough goal to concede. A lot of Arsenal fans are sort of jumping on the back of Lokonga there for his, I guess, I don't want to say role in our downfall, that's what they're saying. Party obviously going off at half time, and City probably had the better of the second half, whereas we probably had the better of the first half. But don't want to be too harsh on the bloke. I didn't really notice anything too bad that he was doing. He's obviously not the same player as Party, but I don't think many players in the Premier League come close to Thomas Partey and what he's been able to give us this year. Obviously you got Casemiro at United doing incredible things as well, but a little bit rough on old Sambi there to get a bit of abuse after that one. I thought it was a really good performance, and enough to sort of have a bit of belief for the boys going into our next meetings with Man City. It's a bummer there's going to be no FA Cup for us this year. It seems to be the trophy we've been specialising in over the last decade when we've been having good seasons. But look, let's push on for that Premier League.
Exactly. That's what we want to do at the end of the season.
Europa League there as the backup. Maybe make it a little cheeky double. But yeah, those are the two trophies that I'm sure Arteta and the boys are definitely focusing on. Yeah, if you look at the lineup that we did put out, no disrespect to some of those boys there, but yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, pretty happy with the way that, like I keep saying, we were able to compete in that one. But coming up, I think it's overnight for us, 1:30 in the morning, Sunday morning, whatever that translates to local time for the lads playing against Everton. But come on, lads, let's bounce back to winning ways in this one, shall we?
Yeah, you know, you'd like to think it's a fairly simple game, but I got to say I'm not too hopeful of anything big in this game. We know what Sean Dyche is like as a manager, and we know the sort of the defensive exploits that his teams have been able to you know, come up with. You think about the likes of him at Burnley, you know, they were a hard team to break down, and I think, as often can happen when you bring in a new manager, there's that slight, I guess, what's the word, like that, you know, that freshness. It's that
new manager bounce,
yeah, like,
I guess they call it. Like, the players always want to, I guess, impress and make sure that they're in the long-term starting 11, and there's a new belief. If you know, you're listening to someone with fresh ideas. But look, let's be honest, I don't want to jinx it, but they haven't really been playing too well, to say the least. Yeah, like we said, coming off the back of sacking Super Frank there and bringing in Dyche, he's certainly a different style of manager. He'll have them running up and down until their legs fall off, and he'll have them working hard. But hopefully, I'm thinking that our sort of front four there, Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli and Nketiah, the form that they've been showing in the last sort of month or so since we've returned from the World Cup, will be a bit too much for them to handle there. Hopefully it hasn't been too much time for Sean Dyche to get them really organised defensively. But look, it's always a tricky one coming up against a team in their first game with a new manager. We've always traditionally done really well against Everton. I think it's the team we've beat the most in the Premier League.
I think you're right there, yeah.
But a big one for us in this is, thank God Partey isn't injured after coming off at half-time.
I think that's a really important thing for this week. As like you said before, you know, he brings us that anchor in the middle, but it also brings Xhaka the ability to move a little bit more, and you know, probably creates a little bit more confidence for that back four that he's protecting behind him there. So yeah, really happy that Partey's going to be sweet for this game, and you know, if we are 1 or 2 up, it gives us the chance to rest in a little bit. We bring on Jorginho and he smacks in a pen, you know, so there you go. Yeah,
look, it'll be good for Jorginho not to have to be thrown straight into the deep end there in a starting role, but I'm sure he'd be up to it even if Partey was injured there. But yeah, good news for Arsenal fans, to say the least, and surely we can get back on track with our winning ways after only our third defeat of the season.
Must be third
Knocked out
of the season. Carabao, FA and United, so third loss of the season. Yeah, very different to what it's been like it's for an Arsenal fan for a wee while, that's for sure.
Did we didn't lose a Europa League game?
No.
Nice.
I don't think so.
Arsenal. Now, have you gone and found any value for the punter on this one?
I sort of have a little bit of value. I don't know if there's going to be too many Arsenal fans happy with the way I've gone, but I've gone for the Ars to win 1-0. One of the old sayings from back in the day, you know. Now, like I said, I think we know that a team run by Sean Dyche is going to be strong defensively, and I think with all the talk that's been around Everton over the last wee while, and you know, the quiet transfer window and losing Anthony Gordon, I think they're going to be up for it, and they're going to see no reason why they can't try and push us. But I do think we're going to be too strong, and we're going to nab a goal at some stage in the proceedings and come away with a handy 3 points. You know, if we can keep on winning, I'm not really too worried whether it's 1-0 like that. So that's the way I'm going. Arsenal will win 1-0, and it's going to give you back $6.50.
Nice. That's pretty good value there for something that, like you said, Sean Dyche's team is normally pretty well organised defensively, but surely the form we're in, we'll be able to sneak one past them. And I'll be a happy man if that's Eddie, because I've gone Arsenal to win and to Eddie to score there. $3.19, not the biggest value, but look, Eddie's been banging them in for fun lately, and I think, no disrespect to Everton, but he tends to score more goals against those sort of mid to lower table teams. Those big games, he's had a couple where he's done well, but yeah, he should cause a lot of problems for that Everton backline, I think. So yeah, $3.19 there, and just as a little side dish, I've got Odegaard anytime goal scorer there at $2.88. Another man who's been in great form, great goal scoring form
really good
this
goal
year.
scoring form this year, which has been awesome to see. And
look, 1 in 3. I think he's been scoring at a higher rate than that this season, so I'm taking that.
So fingers crossed we'll be able to come away with a little bit of money with you somewhere along the line out of those 3 bets.
Absolutely, I'm sure one of those 3 comes off.
Something's going to come off. If not, we might have to retire. We might have to be changing up our sports. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll have to go and look at some buzzy sports maybe, and look to find our niche market.
Exactly. But speaking of different sports, it's probably time to get on to a little bit of the cricket then.
Yep, the lads have been over in India.
Have they? I don't know if we actually had too many cricketers over there, unfortunately. The way it ended up going.
Look, the first T20, we got a good win there, which was awesome to see. It's always tough to beat India over there in their home conditions with their raucous crowds. But shout out Daryl Mitchell and Devon Conway for getting 50s in that first game, which gave us an awesome total to defend. And yeah, the bowlers I think all chipped in with a couple of wickets each there and got them down to 8 or 9 down, so they couldn't bring it home. But yeah, like you said, second and third T20, don't know how many cricketers we had out there, particularly batsmen. Now the second T20 was a very bizarre game.
Yeah, this was all over the place, this one, eh? Yeah,
you thought we would have caked it, only scoring 99 from our 20 overs there, 8 wickets down, but look, we managed to make it very, very close in the end.
Yeah, what a weird result this one was, eh?
India having to go right down to the last over to bring up the winning runs there, third to last ball, I believe, maybe 4 off 3 they need, or 3 off 2 they might have needed, and
something like that,
had a 4. So look, we had a chance to win it. Wasn't to be in the end, but a bloody good effort from the bowlers in that one. But can't say the same about the third 2020.
Yeah, this one not so flash.
India bringing up about 230 odd. Shubman Gill again bringing up his 100.
He's been unreal, hasn't he, over the last few matches?
Double 100 in the one days, and I think another 100 in the third one day, and now 100 here. And yeah, look, the lads bowled out for 66. I don't know what went wrong there. I didn't even bother watching the highlights once I saw the score.
11 bowlers in the team, maybe, like what I used to always say about why
11 bowlers.
Why can the bowlers not bat and why can't the batsmen not bowl? Maybe that was the case. We had 11 bowlers out there that didn't know how to bat, possibly.
And looked like they didn't know how to bowl, conceding 230 runs.
Yeah, not flash.
Maybe they didn't know how to field.
Yeah, possibly. It could have been that they didn't have any fielders with them, possibly this time.
I haven't seen this one, but look, the lads are, I believe, on their way home, might be home by now, so hopefully we can bounce back and have a good home summer. I think the Poms and Sri Lankans are coming
over, so it'll be good to see whether we can try and turn that form around a little bit, fingers crossed.
Yeah, look, England with Brendan McCullum as their coach, they've gave us a good hiding when we went over there, so hopefully we can return serve.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
That'll be a tough one, but yeah, hopefully we can get a good result up against the Sri Lankans at least. But yeah, it's probably about it for the cricket. Nothing else that I've really seen. There's been a couple of other one days going on, England and South Africa, but haven't really been paying
too much attention, I guess.
Yeah,
over that way in terms of the world of cricket. But I guess that leads us into our brief foray into the NBA. Now, the Wizards have been slowly turning around their fortunes a little bit. Currently sitting at 24 and 26. We've made our way back into the play-ins there in ninth spot, which is nice to see.
Yeah, look, it might be at the end of the year that we see a little bit of a
next Wizards play-in possibly. Who knows?
Next versus Wizards, 8th versus 9th, or 7th versus 10th, or whatever it ends up being. But yeah, look, the Knicks trudging along, going through good spells and bad spells, but staying just above in 7th spot there, 27 and 25. And big shout out to Julius Randle for making the All-Stars again. The only Nick in the team, or in the draft, I suppose, to lead the team. And unfortunately, Bradley Beal just wasn't able to string enough games together possibly this year.
Because I have been a little bit slack, I guess, in terms of keeping up with them this year. But
what's his
have a little look, see how many
total games he's played? Because I reckon that'll be it. I reckon he's just been injured or something.
Well, that's what I'm going to try and have a look at here. Where do we Bradley Beal stats? So if what do we say? It was 24 and 26. That's 50 games played. He has. This is sort of just giving up his game stats. I'd have to be able to
Is there no total game?
Recent games.
Bradley Beal total games 2022-23.
Does it come up? See, mine's sort of just giving me others, his
points per game and stuff, right?
Yeah, all of that.
Yeah, so
it doesn't look like he's played every game though, by the looks of that. It looks like he's possibly missed a few. Yeah, I'm not too sure exactly. It's hard to see there, but regardless of that, I don't think he has been. I know I said a few weeks ago that we've been sort of playing our best ball when he's been off the court. So maybe that has been the case. He's been missing a little bit, but awesome to see the other day, Denny Avdia having a really good game. And a little bit of sad news coming out of the Wizards. We lost one of my favourite Wizards players, Rui Hachimura. He's been sent to the Lakers in a little trade there for Kendrick Nunn, but he made a really good first appearance out there for the Wizards, which was cool to see. But yeah, unfortunate that there's no Wizards involved in the All-Star team. Have they announced the other All-Star events, do you know?
I don't know about that actually. I haven't seen.
Not by the looks of it. I'm not too sure. We might be in the wrong here, but I think it must just be the player pool.
So he's played 30 games this year. How many games have you guys
50.
Played? 50. So 30 he's missed 20, and he only played 40 last year.
I can't see anything else on here about anyone else that's been picked in this rest of the All-Star weekend. We've got the Rising Stars Challenge, but there's no one there that I can see involved with the Wizards that I can see. No one there really. So yeah, it'd be nice to see a few more of those Wizards being involved in the All-Star weekend, but the way it is, maybe it means we keep our lads fit and injury free, and hope that we can push on for the second half of the season.
Yeah, maybe a few people with points to prove.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm sure Kuz would have been filthy to miss out.
Yeah,
the season he's been having an awesome season. But yeah, possibly another case of has he played enough games? I'm not too sure if he's had any injuries this year. But yeah, All Stars, when's that coming up? Next weekend or something? Next couple of weeks.
Must be Friday, February
20th. 20th. So 2 or 3 weeks away. So I'm sure we'll start to see those dunk and 3-point and skills challenge people coming out soon, being announced. Who's going to be competing in those, because they're always fun to watch. should be a good weekend. But it's probably about us for the NBA if you wanted to take us through the darts wrap-up.
Yeah, now there's been, I guess, one name on the lips of most darts fans over the last couple of weeks, and that is Mr. Hollywood himself, Chris Dobie. Now, shout out to him for taking home the double. Now, he managed to get himself over the line last weekend to take away the Masters. He had an awesome,
I was watching that
awesome weekend of darts.
Because I was tuning in intently watching how Righty was going. He was looking in good stead in his semi-final, but ended up being a bit of a comeback from, which one did he play, Cross or Dobie?
I can't remember. I think it was...
I was like, yeah, well, he'll be in the final there. He's the highest ranked. He should get the job done for me at $9, but...
I think it was Dobie. Let me just have a quick look. I can't remember.
Dobie, yeah.
No, it was Cross. Cross won 11-10, and that's right. Dobie knocked out Smith. And Cross really sort of seemed to, I guess... seemed to get his best darts out of the way in that semi-final. It was an awesome semi-final, that one there. That's right. It was Peter Wright. And then sort of got out there in the final, and the average dropped by 8, and sort of Dobie was able to just sort of continue playing the game that he was playing throughout the whole tournament, you know, sort of making sure he was getting those doubles, and any chances that he was given, you know, he managed to take it. He didn't get an average over 97 throughout that tournament. When you look at, you know, Ron Cross had a 98 there in the semi-final, Peter Wright was 97, and so he managed to come away with the win for his first televised final, which was awesome to see. A little bit sad the way the final went in the end, with sort of Cross falling away a little bit. And then we had the Premier League back yesterday. Obviously I spoke a little bit before about it, you know, snagging a bit of money, and Dobie was the man to take this one out as well. So he managed to get himself into the final up against MVG and took out the big fish, 170 along the way, and down to the last leg decider, and he's left with 160, and he only goes out and checks it, 2 triple 20s and a shot at tops, and he doesn't let that slip. So really awesome to see him doing that, and you know, sort of, I guess we're starting to see a little bit of that potential that we've seen from him over the last few years coming out. So yeah, really cool to see him getting the win there, and I'm sure he'll be looking to, I guess, continue that form as we move into, I believe, night or evening round, week 2 of the Premier League, which will be coming up on the 10th of February here our time. So it'll be the same again next Friday morning, and I'm sure he'll be looking to try and push on and do something similar again. So awesome, the Premier League. There's lots of darts to be had. We've got Players Championships coming up as well over in Barnsley, so there's lots of darts to watch, and they'll be looking to getting themselves warmed up before they head over to, I actually don't even know where that is, Kiel, the Baltic Darts openers, Germany, Kiel in Germany. So there you go. So I've never heard of that place. I guess, well, there's a football team there, isn't it? Holsten Kiel, I believe, or something like that. Holsten Kiel, there you go. Yeah, Kiel. I knew. So I do know the place, but they'll be getting over there later on in February for the Baltic Darts Open, which will be a good watch. But it's probably about it in terms of the world of darts. I guess a quick brief touching. That's not the right word, but we'll quickly touch on one of our, you know, probably our top fan, Freddie the Flying Kiwi. Now, the bastard, the last 2 weeks up at Birkenhead, we've drawn each other the first time last weekend, and he came away after 2-0 win in the groups, and then just gone on Wednesday we drew each other in the first round of the knockout, and the bastard's only gone and beaten me again too. So Freddie, if you're listening, if you're tuning in, this one's for you, and I'm going to get you next week. We've got the Summer Open next Saturday up at the Birkenhead RSA. Come along and have a watch. It's a full day of darts, and fingers crossed we'll see a little Nat versus Freddie. I would love to say main round final, but let's be honest, a consolation final up against each other, with one of us bringing home the bacon, fingers crossed.
Yeah, look, I tuned into that one on the knacker.com.
Yeah, on the Knacker, yeah. Wednesday night there.
Yeah, look, it was a tense game, but well done, Freddie. You pulled through and managed to get the bickies in that one, so shout out, brother. But yeah, that's probably about it for the week, unless you've got anything else you want to bring up for the viewers and listeners.
I think that's probably me, as always. Thank you for listening, thank you for tuning in. give us a like, a follow, a share, everything that you do on your social media, and tell your friends and family to tune on in. But yeah, thank you as always.
Yeah, thank you very much. We'll see you next week. Ciao.
Ciao.
Marshall skips away, Marshall skips away, Marshall's still going, Marshall's got Richards coming up outside, now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons win the grand final.
Whips that one away, and Kane Williamson and his team now world test champions.